Have you ever thought about building a real, profitable business from something people literally throw away every single day? Well, today we're diving into a business model that does exactly that. We're talking about turning discarded glass into a product that's in super high demand. Let's get into how it all works.
And you know, that phrase isn't just some catchy line, it's the actual business plan. We're talking about taking something that's just clogging up our landfills and transforming it into pure, marketable value. It's one of those rare models where doing good for the planet and making good money, they go hand in hand.
And when I say good money, I mean it. Just look at that number. We're looking at a potential profit of 1,20,000 rupees every single month. So the big question is, how on earth do you get from a pile of broken bottles to a number like that? Well, let's break it down.
So, let's walk through this business plan together, step by step. We're going to look at the product, who's buying it, what it costs to make, and, of course, the profits, to really uncover this opportunity that's hiding in plain sight. Okay, first things first. What exactly is the product at the very heart of this business? Let's define glass powder and figure out what makes it so valuable in the first place. It really is as simple as it sounds. It's waste glass that's been crushed into a fine powder. But here's the key detail you need to know. It's all about the mesh size. That's just a fancy way of measuring how fine the particles are. And that fineness, that is what directly controls its price. Think about it like the difference between, say, semolina and superfine flour. A lower mesh size, maybe around 80, gives you a coarser powder. It sells, but for a lower price. But a high mesh size, like 300, produces this incredibly fine powder. And that stuff commands a premium price. So, we've got a valuable product, but who's actually buying it? I mean, is there a real market? You'd be surprised. The demand for glass powder is incredibly diverse and, more importantly, it's stable. Let's look at who's using it.
The customer base here is huge. Glass powder is a critical ingredient for tile manufacturers. It's used as a filler in all kinds of paints and putty. It's even used for crafting decorative items. And get this, it's a key material in construction chemicals and even in that reflective paint they use for road markings. It's one of those invisible but absolutely essential parts of so many things we see every day.
So, why is it so popular? Well, it really boils down to two simple things. First, it's cost-effective. For a lot of industries, it's just plain cheaper than other materials they could use. And second, it's eco-friendly. I mean, using a recycled waste product gives companies a huge sustainability win, and that's a massive selling point in today's market. All right, we've covered the what and the why. So now, let's get into the how. What do you actually need to get a business like this off the ground? Think of this section as your practical blueprint. You know, it really just comes down to two main things. First, your raw material. And here's the beautiful part. Your key ingredient is waste glass, which is cheap and super easy to find from local scrap dealers. Second, you need the right machinery. You'll need a crusher to break the big pieces, a pulverizer to grind it down, a dust collector for safety, and a sieve to sort it all into those different mesh sizes.
So what's the damage for all that equipment? A complete setup will run you somewhere between 6 and 8 lakh rupees. Now think about that. For a manufacturing business with the kind of profit potential we're talking about, that is a remarkably accessible entry point.
Okay, now for the part I know you've been waiting for. The numbers. Let's really get into the nitty-gritty of the costs so we can understand exactly how we get to those impressive profit margins we saw earlier.
The whole calculation starts right here with your raw material. Waste glass is incredibly cheap. On average, you're looking at about 4 rupees per kilogram. That super low starting cost is really the foundation of this whole business's profitability.
Now, on top of that, you've got your operational costs, right? You've got electricity to run the machines, you've got labor, packaging, all of that adds about another 3 rupees per kilogram.
So when you add it all up, your all-in production cost comes to a grand total of 8 rupees per kilogram, okay? Remember that number, 8 rupees. Now let's see how that simple cost translates into profit.
This right here, this is where the business model truly shines. Your production cost is fixed. It's always 8 rupees per kilo. It doesn't matter how fine the powder is. But the selling price, that changes everything. Your standard coarser powder sells for around 16 rupees. You literally double your money. But that super fine powder, that can go for as much as 35 rupees. That nets you a profit of 27 rupees on every single kilogram you produce.
Okay, so you've done it. You've produced your high-quality glass powder. The final and maybe most crucial step is actually getting it to the market. So how do you find those customers, and how do you make sure your product looks professional?
Your customer base is right where the demand is. You can go and approach tile and paint factories directly.
You can connect with hardware wholesalers or reach out to construction chemical suppliers. And definitely don't forget the online route. B2B portals like IndiaMart and Trade India are packed with potential buyers looking for exactly this kind of material.
And finally, a couple of things that are absolutely non-negotiable. First, presentation matters. Pack your product professionally in branded 25 or 50 kilo bags. Usually these are made of HDPE. That's just a durable plastic perfect for industrial stuff. It just builds trust. Second, and this is the most important part, safety. The fine dust from this process means masks, a good dust collector, and proper ventilation are mandatory. No shortcuts here.
You know, this whole business is such a powerful reminder to see value where other people just see waste. I mean, if something as common as a discarded bottle can be transformed into a valuable industrial product this easily, it really makes you wonder.
How many more opportunities just like this one are hidden all around us right now? What other stuff are we discarding every single day, just waiting for someone to come along and see it not as trash, but as treasure?